Evening, lads. Evening, all. Evening, all. How we all keeping? How we all keeping? Fury AJ, who do you have? So I was going to do a video on it, right? And I recorded today, actually. But I've had a few of them happen to me this week, where like you're recording the video, and you're just not with it, if you know what I mean. It's just no flow to it. So I said, to hell with it. I was going to stream this evening anyway. I was actually going to stream earlier, but I think North Dublin's electricity wasn't where it needed to be. So I said, right, what I'm going to do is I'll just do the stream this evening whenever it sorts itself out. I'll ask you guys the questions. So you get a few of you guys in the chat right here. I'll let me know who you got. AJ Fury. Because it's looking likely that we're going to get the announcement. I don't know when. Let's just say in the next 3 weeks or so. Once they get a location set, it's going to be in Saudi Arabia, lads. Definitely be in Saudi Arabia, I reckon. But let's see who's in the chat. Big up to Dan. Shout out to you every time, man. Shout out to you every single time, bro. Tyson Fury dominates AJ and stops him in 7. I'm going, see, right. I want to do a proper, like, breakdown and prediction for this fight. So I don't want to give too much away in just the live stream, because I want to do a proper video on it. Like, I don't want to just be like, oh yeah, this is my prediction, and then, like, you know, go into it here. But when this fight was originally talked about, I was like, who would I go with? I'm kind of a bit more clear on who I go with, but I have a few questions. Never been so confident about a boxing match. Fury, round 7 KO. Jesus Christ. You're proper confident that he's going to go in 7. AJ Fury, 7 rounds. See, this is one thing I wonder, right, Dan? And, like, I think this could be a genuine question, right? So, you're saying Fury in round 7, right? And if it was dominant by Fury, say Fury goes in there, right, and he puts a really dominant display on, right? Say he knows in the first, like, round or two, it's going to be easy, and vice versa, AJ. Do you wonder? Well, these are some of the things I think about, right? Do you wonder if one or both of the fighters might think, if I go in there and I beat this guy, I get a rematch, 2 big paydays. If I dominate this guy so bad, you going to get a rematch, miss out on a big payday? I don't know. Maybe that's me overthinking things. But definitely, you're going with Fury. Big up to Halim. Love the new logo. Yeah, #G. Yeah, man. It was worth the money. It was worth the 60 quid it cost for everything. The logo and the intro. But the old one was crap. The old one was just something I pieced together. And you can tell I did it because it didn't look the greatest. Well, it looked all right, but it wasn't the greatest. And I like this one better, white and purple. Just a lot nicer. Big up to Nick every time, evening all. Big up all, #Gmans rocks. Yes, bro. Just finished work on the bus blasting. Yeah, man. Getting you through, getting you home, lad. Getting you home. Big up to Rich. Big up G-Man, #Gmans rocks. AJ in 7. Wow. Dan has Tyson in 7. You got AJ in 7. I think one leads to a knockdown. You mean like one shot leads to a knockdown if Fury stops standing? I can't see that. Like, I can see him winning. Yeah. But I cannot see it being like one shot and then Fury getting up. No way. That literally, I can't see that. I can see, like, in fact, I could see, like, if someone gets stopped in this fight, the referee letting it go on an age. No way is that going to happen. I'd be amazed if that happens. Galaxy got AJ. George C. Fury to come in around 270. AJ mid to low 240s. Fury to show patience. You see, that's one thing I'm thinking of as well, right? Say AJ comes in, right? And he does go and he does drop him, right? He does drop Fury. Say like it happens, because I don't doubt that could happen. Say he drops Fury, right? What are the odds of Fury being able to survive? I reckon all right. So if AJ really empties the tank, because this is known now, if AJ really does empty the tank on Fury, what the hell is going to happen for the next 3-4 rounds? Is Fury just going to be like, okay, well, he's not got much left. He's going to put it on him. I think that's what most fighters should do with AJ. I think that's going to be something that is really going to go against AJ with future opponents. They know, even if he's light, Even if he's light, they know if he really exerts himself and opens up, if he goes and gives it like all stick in one round, like really puts it on you in one round, tries to get you out of there, and you're still there, there's a pretty good chance he's going to need 3, 4, maybe even 5 rounds to just get back up to where he needs to be. If you put it on him then, you stand a good chance of hurting him and buzzing him. Seriously. Been a while since you and Unrivaled chopped it up. Would love a nice chop up session. Yeah, man, actually, I haven't been on Mark's panel in ages. It's never something, see, like, when I listen to Mark, right, and I listen to D, I listen just for, like, the sake of like, just for enjoyment more so. I don't seldom go on, unless it's something that I really, like, I'm real interested in, like, a specific subject. I very seldom go on, but I will actually probably go on. I'll go on one of his next panels, definitely. Like that, as I said, I like listening. You know, when I listen to Mark and D and the guys like, you know, Beats, Ring IQ, I listen just for enjoyment. I don't really listen to go on and have a chat, but I do go on the odd time, bro. I'll definitely go on. Maybe one of his next ones. Go on with him and D and Johnny or someone. Smash the like on the way in. Yes, please, lads, if you could, if you wouldn't mind smashing the like on the way in, that'd be a big help. 14 likes and 29 in the chat. So if you could smash the like, I appreciate that. Box fam thinks, big up yourself, G-Man. Hashtag G-Man's rocks. There you go. Brandon's got Fury. But what met, bro? What met? KO or points? AJ on points. It's going to be very difficult to beat AJ on points. It'd be very difficult to beat AJ on points. That's one thing I've learned. Because if you look at the Klitschko fight, I don't know about you. I don't know about any of you guys in the chat, but I had Klitschko well ahead at the time of the stoppage. Well ahead. Like even the fifth round is the only definitive round you give to AJ. And even then, you'd give it to him 10-9 because Klitschko came back so strong towards the end of that round. You'd have to give it a 10-9 round. I really couldn't make a case for that being 10-8. That's the only real round where AJ really dominated Klitschko. And even then, he was buzzed himself. But for the like one judge, I think only gave Klitschko like 2 rounds, 3 rounds. No, he gave him like 2 rounds because he had a 10-8 round for a knockdown. I don't know how you give AJ only 2 rounds or Klitschko only 2 rounds. He was dominating that fight. Hashtag G-Man's rocks, big up, brah. Nick has AJ. See, the one thing about Fury, the more he's out of the ring, the longer he's out of the ring, then I wonder how will he be in terms of sharpness. Damn, how can you be more confident on this than Fury versus Schwartz? Yeah, Fury Schwartz. Jesus Christ, bro. Tom Schwartz. He's fought since then. I think he fought Safiri. I'm nearly sure he fought someone since then who wasn't that good. I remember that. I definitely remember that. You've always said Fury even before AJ lost to Ruiz. Yeah, I've always gone back and forth in my head over that. Even before AJ lost to Ruiz. I'm a bit more confident now on who I pick. I think, bro, I already read that, but big up. Yeah, big up to Tony every single time. I reckon Fury come out in the back foot, AJ to try and take center ring, then AJ to come on strong in the middle rounds. I can see him tiring late and Fury coming on aggressively. I suspect if Fury is going to fight AJ, his best option is going to be to box early on. Like you said there on the back foot, not go full blown. See, I think with Wilder, it caught everyone by surprise. That Fury came out so aggressive, you know, jabbing on the front foot. I think that kind of surprised me. I mean, I really did genuinely believe in my heart of hearts that Fury would just do what he did in the first fight, but maybe try and be, you know, a little bit more aggressive. Maybe try and use some of that extra weight on Wilder. I never in my Wilder. Like when I watched that live and saw that, I was just like, what the hell? Couldn't believe it. Tyson points or late stoppage, but leaning towards points. You see, it's like Brandon Smith says here, AJ could win a bad decision. It's hard to get a decision over AJ. That's one thing I'm very wary of. You know, it's going to be a bit on the tricky side to get a decision over AJ. At least that's what I'm thinking anyway. Because AJ, you know what, like the major, and I know with Fury, he's getting bigger and he's got a bit more political sway, but you can see some crazy scorecards. See some crazy. The better opponent, the better the Fury. He be with Coach Asgar in 15. Big up to Coach Asgar. 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 I always get his name wrong. I'm always butchering it. You know me and names, man. You know me and names, man. I still can't properly Nair Obale. I still can't properly pronounce his name. So thank God he's not fighting anytime soon. Otherwise, I'd be rightly screwed. Fury gonna box rings around AJ and stop him late if he gasses out. I don't know. I'll give you my thoughts now in a sec. Saudi Arabia isn't looking as much of a shoe in to host it on vaccination rates. They've made progress, but they have a population of around 20 million. Now, I reckon I'd be very surprised if it's not Saudi Arabia, to be honest with you. I think money talks at the end of the day. I'd be very surprised. To be honest with you, I wouldn't even be shocked if they do both fights in Saudi Arabia. I mean, they might want to try and do it in the UK, the second fight, if we get a second fight. But here, at the end of the day, if they know in the UK they could make, I'm just throwing guesses out here. Say they make fucking, I don't know, 15 mil from gate receipts. But say the Saudis offered them 30 mil just to have a rematch there, excluding gate receipts. They'd be just like, the hell with it. LOL at the Don King video. Yeah, oh man. Don King. I actually got a few people requesting to do a WTF video on Don King. And I actually hadn't given it any thought until I seen that. That's actually a good idea. Because there's so much about Don King. Like, I mean, would I even get it all into an hour? There's that much on Don King. You'd have a field day. You'd have a field day with him. Yeah, G-Man, I don't have a clue who wins. Leaning towards AJ. But then I listened to Mark break down all the different skills and I realized it's a crazy hard fight. Yeah. It's weird, right? Because I see what AJ does. You see, with Wilder, so easy to offset Wilder because of just his lack of technique. AJ's so much more polished. Wilder can fight a bit on the inside, but I kept saying it in the lead up to the Kubrat Pulev fight. Watch AJ's uppercut, how underrated it is. And look what he had his most success with against Pulev with was the set uppercut. You think Tyson do him after 4 rounds? Ben thinks Fury late TKO. Mary thinks Fury gets sparked. Really? You think Fury gets sparked? Oh, interesting. You people that back Fury don't know anything about real boxing. There's a lot of people backing Fury. There's a lot of people backing Fury. AJ takes the Fury like Wallen did, a bigger, stronger, and better fighter. Look at that. You see that right there, Nick? That is an excellent point. That's an excellent point. Imagine, put it like this, right? Now, this cut wasn't as bad. This cut was actually worse than Fury's, I should say. Look at Vitaly Klitschko, right? When he fought Lennox Lewis, how bad that cut was, okay? It was a bad cut. Now, fast forward, when did they fight? They fought in 2003. When did he fight Kevin Johnson? 2011, was it? It was 2010 to 2011. But anyway, it was about 7-8 years removed, right? Johnson lost every minute of every round in that fight, but he was able to have a bit of success with his jab. Now, look at Vitaly Klitschko's eye after that fight. Look how badly damaged it was. Now, it wasn't horrifically damaged or anyone like that. It wasn't anything like that. But it was still having that residual scar tissue. It was still there, right? Now, Fury's cut wasn't as bad. It was still a bad cut. So if AJ starts landing a couple of jabs, a few right hands, something like that, I could definitely see a scenario where that cut reopens. Just judging by how, because that was a bad cut, lads. And AJ, with Wilder, he wasn't able to land anything really meaningful on Fury. He was just looking for the right hand. There was no jabbing really at all. And I think with AJ will pop that. We try and jab with Fury. I think Fury has the longer arms, to be fair. But if Fury's cut, if the eye starts taking a few shots, I wouldn't be at all shocked if that, because that scar tissue, some people say it never really heals. Now, you can see it, as I said, with Vitaly Klitschko, years removed, worse cut, to be fair, much worse cut, but still, there's still lingers of that scar tissue still there. Can't stop, but came by the drop a like. Well, big up to Jared. Thanks for stopping. If you could, 40 in the chat, if you could, smash the like button, please, there, lads. Picking a draw, Fury winning the first half and AJ rallying late. A draw. I wonder what odds you'd get on a draw. I think that I wonder what odds you would get on a draw. Actually, might be. I put it like this, right? If someone had £5 and they gave it to me back in like December 2018, and they said put it on a draw versus AJ or versus Wilder Fury, you would have made a fair bit. If you just put like a fiver on the draw, I wonder what odds it would be for a draw actually, because it'd probably be decent. But if you could just, it's £5. I know it's bad, but it's not that bad. In the world with the economy, I mean, like £5, just a little splash. I mean, put it like this: you could either have a pint and drink the pint for £5 and then it's gone, or you could take a little gamble. Just the hell with it. I'll pop £5 down for Fury AJ draw, and then if it comes true, you're getting points for everyone basically. Fury by late tech TKO or UD. It's an interesting one, bro. See, I'm thinking if Fury wins, it's going to be early. It's going to be early or mid. Well, when I say early, I don't mean like within the first three. I think kind of like between like 5 to 7. Fury going to Fury, or Tyson going to Fury. Has anyone seen Pupil Fiction when that big dummy got bumped? I probably butchered reading that, to be honest with you. You're totally up for the Pacquiao versus Ryan Garcia exhibition. But what's with this exhibition nonsense? I meant to say there should be a 12-round fight for Pacquiao's title. It should be. They need to strip Pacquiao at this stage, man. They really do. He's not fought anyone. He's not fought at all, actually, hasn't he? Not. He's not really fought anyone. And he's looking to fight. One sec. You got to chew on the mint every now and again. You got to chew on a nice mint every now and again. But yeah, he's not really fought anyone since, hasn't he? Now he's literally. It was McGregor until McGregor got knocked out. And now what? Now who is it? Now it's Ryan Garcia, lightweight. The fanfare for that fight would be unreal, though. Like, you get Garcia fans. They're not, you know what Garcia fans are like, but they'd use Pacquiao's name. You get some fanfare for that fight. I see the Logan Paul versus, is it Logan or Jake? Whichever one. They're both twats. But that exhibition with Floyd is off. You're a fan of both, but wouldn't bet money on it. Whoever wins, you'll sleep just fine. Yeah, I'm inclined to be that way as well. Like, I like both guys. I think both guys are grand. I love watching both of them. Fury, AJ, I'll happily watch both. Whoever wins. We'll see a rematch anyway, and then who knows, might even see a trilogy. You wouldn't bet on this. I might just do it. I might just go and get a fiver and just be like, you know what, the hell with it. There you go. I might just do it. I might just do it and just be like, you know what, the hell with it. Like, does anyone actually put the odds in the chat before I big up to Unrivaled? By the way, before I do it, did anyone put in the chat as I go scroll down, because I'm a good bit behind? Sorry, lads. Anyone put in the odds on 22-1? Darren says is a draw, but Boxing Fam thinks it's always 25-1. Now, lads, my maths not the best, and I've no calculator with me. So if anyone wants to help your boy out and let me know, if I put £5 down on 25-1, what would that return? My maths ain't great. I know Mark is actually quite good at maths, so if he's still in the chat, 25-1. If I put a fiver down on that, I wonder how much I'll get back. Because I might just do it. Just because it's like, put it like this, right? I ain't going to be going to a pub anytime soon by the looks of things. So 125. Okay. Now, that's worth it. That's worth sticking a fiver down on. That's what I might do. I might just bet the draw. That's not what I'm picking, by the way, obviously, but I might just back the draw and just put a fiver down. If it gets me £125, what's the worst that can happen? It's only a fiver. Oh yeah, anyway, I didn't read your chat. Sorry about that, bro. I gave a 10-8 just because Klitschko came back in the round. Doesn't mean he won. AJ did more damage, landed one shot, dropped them. I just felt myself that it was Klitschko done enough to warrant the point back, personally. But I think all the judges did score a 10-9. No, they all scored a 10-8. They all scored a 10-8 in the end anyway. Tyson Fury going to do to AJ. Oh, has anyone seen Pupil Fiction when the big two? I was wondering because I was like, that didn't make sense what you wrote the first time, but big up to you, man. Big up to big up Tony. Massive shout out to Tony Boswell every time. Big up to you, mate. Much respect, G-Man, in the chat. You got Fury by KO. If Fury fights like he did against Wilder, just don't think AJ fights well, being pressured. You see, I think there's a bit of validity to that as well. I don't think Fury likes it though when the pressure is there either, though, to be fair. That's one thing as well. I think Fury, not to say he struggles with it, no. I think that when Fury's boxing, if you upset his rhythm, you really do notice it. Like Wilder in the first fight couldn't upset that rhythm at all, and he couldn't do it in the second fight. But Wallin just has me thinking. But big up to you. I'll give my talk. Do you want to know what I'm thinking, lads? Right? Honestly, personally, really, I'm thinking Tyson Fury going to win. Just in my opinion, I think Tyson Fury going to stop AJ probably in the mid rounds. That's just from what I'm thinking of now and just my perception. That's what I'm going for. I'll be picking Tyson Fury to win. But I like watching both guys, and please, if it's good, I'll happily watch a rematch. But I'm wondering how much it's going to be on pay-per-view. That's another thing. Yo, big up to Kieran, big up G-Man, hashtag G-Man's Rocks, love the daily content below. Bro, please keep it up. Of course, bro. I don't stop the daily content anytime soon. You know? As long as we've got boxing to talk about, I'll be chucking it out. Have no fear of that. You think AJ's punch resistance might have gone? I think there might be some validity to that. Do you know, I was watching an old Hatman video this morning, and it was this is how many years ago. Does anyone remember that Dylan White, when he fought Chisora, or when he sparred Chisora, there was rumors that he was getting dropped, and he was saying it was in the back of the head. It's little things like that. You actually it's only just happened. It's weird. That just came up in my recommended feed this morning. Like I said, I completely. It was like 5 years ago you uploaded that video. That was before I even fought the first time. I was just like, I'll have a listen to that. I remember Hatman saying how good Dylan White's chin is in that video, and it's like, oh, how times have changed. How times have changed. My gut says for it, but I just can't shake the idea that AJ is a hell of a lot better than he is. Like that's gonna be, that's where we might come up unstuck. But it's gonna be fun to have a listen. Yeah, lads. Big up to Mark. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. Bet this on Fury, round 10, when round comes out. So, bet a tenner, the tenner that you've kindly given me. Thank you. Appreciate that. On Tyson Fury, when round 10 comes out. I will. Also, I've got 15 quid to chuck on it. So, I'll go for the draw on my own, and I'll go with that on round 10. Big up to Nick. 51 in the chat. Smash the like before you type. Let's make it 40 likes. There we go. Man, appreciate that, bro. How many likes do we have, actually? 32. We only need 8 more. Lad, you guys are great. And I will go back to the questions I missed. Have no fear. Unpopular opinion, but Fury AJ. No, I genuinely. Crazy D3, I'm telling you now, I've got a feel. I've got a feeling. I reckon it's happening next. No. I just, for some reason, when this was first originally announced, I was just like, will it? Now I have the feeling it will. Now I just have that feeling it will. Zabo, big up to G-Man. Hashtag G-Man's Rocks. I cocked up that intro today. Anyone notice that, actually? I put the wrong intro down. I took it, like I had that saved. I had the logo saved to my files. I just added that to the start of the video. So you just got literally just a picture at the start of the video this morning that I uploaded. I was like, bollocks. Lee, the ball guy, big up to Lee. Fury, for me, is not only the naturally bigger man, but he can carry it easily over 12 rounds. Plus, he never panics. Never against Wilder, never against Wallin. AJ panics. That's actually a very good point. That's actually an extremely good point. AJ is kind of like, when he gets buzzed or he gets hurt and stuff like that, he doesn't seem to really, it's almost like he doesn't know what to do, if you know what I mean. Not that he doesn't know what to do, but it's just kind of like, it's just kind of like, oh, what do I do? I'm hurt now. Where do I go? Do I hang on? Do I try and fight fire with fire? Whereas at least with Fury, We've seen him down before, and it's just like, all right, this is what's happened. Dust yourself off. Hold on. I remember when he got dropped against Wilder, it was just hold on, try and smother him, and then land my own shots. And Wilder, do you remember what? Well, actually, not that. You'll see Wilder's face on screen there. That was Wilder's face on screen when Fury got up. A WTF video on Don King would take forever. It would, but please do a WTF on Don King. It'd be epic. Well, I haven't even considered what I'm going to do for February's yet, so that might be one to think of. That would be epic, though, wouldn't it? That would be epic. The problem with Don King is, like, how much do you do? Like, I mean, like, I don't want him to go over an hour. But what you could talk about Ali, you could talk about Tyson, you could talk about McClellan, there's so much you could talk about Don King. Even today. I mean, like, where do you even start with Don King? You can talk about, like, the things he's done outside of the ring. You know, I mean, as we know, he's had, 2 people, that he's killed, basically. Hey, where do you start with Don King? Big up to Jeff, salute G-Man and the chat. Big up to you. Like on Hatman's old career review videos. I like doing the WTF videos the way I do them. Like, I don't really even consider them career reviews. I just kind of consider them like I kind of try and have a laugh in them, but I try and just give it, like, I don't know. I don't really know what way. I don't see them as career reviews, to be honest with you. Why are they talking about vacating after the first bout or bout? See, I reckon that they'll vacate the WBO. I reckon what will happen there is that the WBO will just turn around and be like, you know what? At this stage, we want our mandatory taken care of. We want the mandatory called. And I reckon if there's so much money, there will be a lot of money. There'll be so much money in the rematch that they'll just say, you know what, the hell with it. Besides, the winner will be undisputed anyway. And look at Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis, when he became undisputed, you only did 3 belts back then. WBA, I think it was. He got rid of that straight away rather than fight John Ruiz. Obviously, it wasn't that he was scared of John Ruiz. It was just that it's John Ruiz. Yeah, it was a horrible cut. Does AJ have better chance of beating Fury than Wilder did? I think AJ has a better chance than Wilder, but I know if this was Wilder pre-Fury, I'd have picked Wilder to beat AJ. That's one thing I know. Reality's voice. Wilder got too much credit for beating bums. Yeah, when I was doing his career, like, WTF video, I was just like, holy shit, he's literally fought nobodies. I remember once, about a year ago. In fact, I think we were only just into the lockdown. I don't know why, but I done, like, I suppose at the time it was a career review, but I done a live stream and I had Wilder's resume up. And I was looking through it, and, like, I done it live, and I was like, I think it's called Auditing Wilder's Resume. It's still on the channel. And I was looking through it, and I was like, holy shit, like, this guy has fought some absolute nobodies. Like, I know there are journeymen like that are, they don't have good resumes, but you know of them, you've heard of them. But I was looking at this, I was like, holy shit, this guy is, like, literally, up until he fought Stavern, these were no ones. They were no ones. So that there's an undisputed fight, won't be able to make Usyk wait for the rematch. No, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. Yeah, Fury's cut wasn't as bad as Vitali's. Like, that Vitali cut was horrible. Like, that was deep. That was really, 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 really deep. Like, I'm not surprised that that's still flared up after the Kevin Johnson fight, but Fury's wasn't as bad, but it wasn't great. Like, I mean, like, a lesser referee would have stopped that fight. Like, could you imagine someone like Howard Foster? The minute he sees blood, he's like, oh, no, stop the fight. Fighter gets wobbled. He's like, no, stop the fight. Then you have someone like Ian John Lewis who's like, yeah, that fighter's out cold. I'm sure I'll count him anyway. Apparently, Dubois back in May. Yeah, apparently so. They will be taking their sweet, sweet time with Daniel Dubois moving forward. I'll tell you that now. They will be taking their sweet time with him moving forward. Dubois, how old is he? 23, going on 24. If he'd stuck around in the amateurs, like, I mean, he'd be turning pro now. Seriously. There's a few fighters. Some fighters, they turn pro early because they're not. I think maybe they know they're not really going to get many opportunities, the amateurs, but Dubois probably would have. Tony, I think Fury and AJ are 1 and 2, but distance between the two was far. I think we'll see in this fight like how far the distance is. AJ's going to try and run AJ down with body shots. AJ we've seen in the past. Even go back and watch the Dylan White fight. Go back and watch the Dylan White fight, the only Dylan White fight. AJ doesn't like them body shots. Ruiz was throwing good body shots in the first fight. I think Fury fans will be in for a big surprise when the fight happens. I think Fury's going to win, Graham Taylor. Big up to you. But I think they will be in for a surprise because I don't think it's going to be as one-sided as they make it out to be. Bet on Fury while the draw was 30-1. Jesus. Yeah, 25-1, man. Jesus. I'll just put a fiver on it for the crack. If it comes true, it does. I get 125 quid. Fury's better ring IQ and can adjust and quicker than AJ. Yeah, I think he can. I think he gets hurt at some point, maybe seriously trouble, but his ring savvy sees him ride it out. I agree. I can see something like that happen as well. And I can see AJ, doing what he's done so often. Try and finish the guy. And if he doesn't finish him, he'll need rounds off. And that's when Fury can be dangerous. If AJ can put Fury down 2 or 3 times less their opponents have, we can see AJ win on points. Yes. The knockdowns in the first Wilder fight were crucial because if one of them hadn't happened, say the 9th round one, say the 12th round one didn't happen, then Fury would have won that fight. Would he have won it? Yeah, he would have. I'm confident, but wouldn't be shocked if AJ pulls it off. Oh, God, no. If AJ wins, won't surprise me in the slightest. Whoever wins, big up. I just hope we see a good fight. That's all I want. I want this fight to live up to the hype. The last thing you want is for like a fight to be talked about, a little bit like Mayweather Pacquiao. Now, most of us knew that wasn't going to be a great fight anyway, but you hate for a fight to have all this hype, get the casuals in, and then for it just to be like, oh, that was boring. You want the fight to be just, I'm not going to say it's going to be like, Gary Ward or anything like that, but, or, Baranchek Zepeda, but just, you'd love a fight like Taylor Prograis, where it's really, really entertaining, it's really fun, but there's so much skill on offer. Like, both fighters are terrific. Like, that was probably one of the fights of the year last year or 2019. You want a fight like that where, and obviously they're 2 different fighters, but where the skill on offer is good. It's just nip and tuck. That was just a great fight. Oh, shit. Did I oh, no, I did read that. Did I? No, I don't think I did, actually. People are underestimating AJ. A lot of people saying Fury will dominate. I think AJ wins, deserves more credit. I think Fury will win, but I think AJ is going to give him hell. AJ won't fight as cautiously as he's been lately. He'll know this is the big one. Fury will be in trouble. Yeah, if AJ puts it on Fury, but the thing is, right, I think if AJ gets hurt, he might go into a shell. He might just think, I don't want to get knocked out. Please forget Tyson went 12 at Wilder and got up twice. Fury might be head runner, but he does what he says. Yeah. I couldn't believe it in the rematch when he was on about like, oh, I'm going to go and I'm going to put it on Wilder, going to come in heavier. I was just like, no. I was just like, that's not going to work. And shows, like, obviously shows what I know. I genuinely thought it was just, he was kind of singing Wilder to sleep. A bit like what David Haye did to Valaway, where it was like, I'm going to put it on him. I'm going to knock him out. I'm going to do it. Yeah. And then the fight came and David Haye was like, stay away, stay away, stay away. Oh, little flurry. Oh, stay away, stay away. I thought it'd be something like that, just have him believe, yeah, he's going to do this, and then do something different. But well, he surprised the hell out of me. De La Hoya wants Garcia to avenge him by retiring Manny Pacquiao. It's not a bad fight, actually. Like, if it was a real fight, or 12 rounds, but exhibition, come on. Surely Ryan wouldn't get a 1-4. I wouldn't have thought so. Well, considering, Nick, the WBA, I'm nearly sure it was them who wouldn't sanction Kell Brook versus Triple G. I'm nearly sure that Kell Brook, when he fought Triple G, not all the titles were on the line. I'm pretty sure the WBA didn't sanction Kell Brook versus Triple G, which is crazy. That they're the ones who do the stupidest things, but yet they're the ones who be like, oh, you have a fight rule of 2 weight classes. No, he's not. No, we won't sanction that. G-Man, compare your height to fighters from the island of Ireland. Compare my height to fighters from the island of Ireland? About 5'11". Most fighters from here probably will be a bit shorter. Most of them will. That's a weird one. The height. I thought you were saying hype. But height, yeah, most fighters from Ireland, like I mean, we got. There's not many of them would be fighting in the higher weight classes, to be honest with you. Most of the good fighters are kind of in the middle to low weights. Like, you know, realistically, probably the best fighter we have is what's the guy's name? Hogan, Dennis Hogan. They both know it's for undisputed. Yeah, yeah, Nick, I agree with you on that. The rematch won't be. The rematch won't be, definitely not. A big up to Lee. I didn't see that original comment, by the way, but big up to you, man. 60-40 in your opinion. What happens, happens. I just think Fury will retire undefeated. If he does, man, it's only Marciano is the only other heavyweight to retire undefeated, isn't it? Unless I'm mistaken. No, it's only Marciano. The only other heavyweight to retire undefeated. Unless I'm seriously serious. No, it's definitely Marciano. Warren saying Dubois will return as early as April. That's quite soon. Yeah. Yeah, that is actually quite soon. We need to see how Dubois is. We really do. I wonder if that eye is going to be an issue moving forward, like a bit like Hellbrook. I wonder if that's going to be like Hellbrook moving forward, but who knows? Who knows? Actually, it's 130, your original stake. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do it. Fury to retire AJ for the first time. He beats him first time. Yeah, I'm just going to go for it. Going to go all tits and just go like £5 on a draw. The hell with it. What's the worst that can happen? You lose £5. That's a point. I don't really drink a lot of alcohol, so it's no great loss, lads. Imagine AJ has heart issues. Don't like saying this, but body language, he could quit against Andy Ruiz. He said he quit against Andy Ruiz. I definitely don't think AJ has heart issues, but if it really gets into a dogfight in there, my money's definitely on Fury. I agree with you, man, about the fifth. AJ almost got stopped after he punched himself out. It looked like Bruno against Witherspoon, and Lewis went exhausted on the ropes. Yeah. He should thank his lucky stars Klitschko wasn't more aggressive. If Klitschko was more aggressive and went for it, could be in trouble. AJ doesn't know his best way to come in at. I'd say in the low 240s or the high 230s. I mean, like if he doesn't, when he's in the 250s, good luck, he get knocked out. G-Man, you're Cash Johnny, you're thinking Fury, UD. Could see that, man. Easily see it. You're worried about Joshua's stamina? Question marks for Fury. Question mark still there for me. Yeah, Joshua's stamina that's a question for everyone, bro. I don't think there is much questions there. I do think AJ has poor stamina. It's just what I feel. I just genuinely don't think the stamina is quite there. Personally, I think that, I think the stamina is not there. Yeah, I know I could Bayabuchi, but on top of heavyweight champions, Bayabuchi was never a heavyweight champion. He retired undefeated. It wasn't really his choice to retire, bro. Think Dubois should have waited until fall. It's too soon for him to fight in April. He still has years to develop and become a champion. I agree. I think Dubois is very for. Oh, I skipped away at the chat. Sorry, bro. But yeah, no, I agree with you there. I think loads of time, absolutely loads of time. There's no reason to just rush him. No reason to rush him. They tried. They took a shot at Joe Joyce. It really was man against boy in there. It really, that fight was. If I've ever seen a man against boy, it was that fight. He just wasn't ready. Mike Conlon, the world's most boring boxer, was called out Stephen Fulton. I've got Fulton in that fight, man. Every time. Conlon, I've tried my best. Like, I've never done a review of one of his fights. I've tried my best, but look, he seems a cool guy. I don't know him personally, but he's just such a boring. He needs to swap trainers. Adam Boot is not the right fit for him. I don't think he's athletic enough. I don't think he's explosive enough. Adam Boot is not the right fit for Conlon. I think he needs an American trainer. Seriously. I think he needs to base himself in the States with an American trainer. 270 plus, yep, has better punch resistance than the 254 version against Wallen, but the scar tissue. Yeah, I was surprised. I really did think that if Fury came in as heavy as he did, that would be his detriment. But obviously, John Fury knew more than he let on, than we do. People forget that Josh was only boxed 44 pro rounds when he fought Klitschko. Yeah, it's crazy. That's crazy when you think about it. He had 44 rounds as a pro when he went in there with Vlad. That's crazy. Start with his hairstyle, Don King. Don King. Don King's an interesting one. Yeah, I think it happens 2 reasons. Wilder said he's moving forward without Fury. The money is too big for both fighters to pass. Fury wants unifications, AJ wanted to. Yeah, we'll see what Wilder does from the future. I'd say, what's the guy's name? I'd say Shirley Finkel. I'd say JD. JD is probably the most sad out of them all because he's got no other fighters after Wilder who could make him any kind of money. Will Fury underestimate Joshua if they fight next? I doubt. I don't think so. I think deep down, I'm sure he'd know he's in for a tough night. WTF on Don. Yeah, man, that's what I was thinking. I'd love to do a WTF on Don King, but Jesus, where do you even where would you even start though? That's the thing I'm thinking of is where would you even how would you start it? Where would you there's just so much on it. It's not like you see the one I done on Kovalev, it's nice and straightforward. You have the start of his career, you have the glory years, then you have the downfall. With Don King, it's just where do I even start with this guy? You know? Fury been boxing over 20 years. Experience allows him not to panic. You do notice that. Although, to be fair, with Canelo, do you remember when Canelo got buzzed by Cotto? Miguel, no, what was it? Jose Cotto. Was that the guy's name? Miguel Cotto's brother. He was very calm when he got buzzed. And he was only, 19 years old? He'd only been fighting he'd only been pro a few years. And he was fighting bums in Guadalajara. Baby Miller terrorized AJ mentally. Just imagine what Fury will do. I would pay for the gloves are off alone. Oh, they just don't get Johnny Nelson to do it, though. Please don't get Johnny Nelson to do it. It would have been very, Miller failed drugs test, all that stuff, but it would have been interesting to see. I know a drug mule and all that, but it just would have been interesting to see what would have happened in that fight. Just people say Miller would have got back. I don't know. G-Man, have to do the EastEnders drama style starting the Don King video. I have actually, believe it or not, right, I thought a bit off. I don't do Thursdays for the foreseeable future anymore because of you-know-what. I have to do 4 days a week now. And I spent most of the day thinking to myself, I was like, if I was doing a WTF video on Don King, how would I even start? You couldn't just start that as the other ones. This would have to have a proper, intro. And I'm not talking about channel intro. I mean, intro to what we're talking about. What's the realistic chances AJ Fury second fight is in the UK? A good chance, I reckon. I do reckon we will eventually, I'm hoping not too distant future, get everything to the way it should be. I'm hopeful of that. But at the end of the day, right, I don't see. Here's one thing you got to remember. I don't even necessarily know if it's the fact that they can't get full fans in for the second fight. So irrespective, if a country like Saudi Arabia or Qatar or somewhere like that is offering that much money, they might just look and say, do you know what? We could get 100,000 fans in Wembley and it still wouldn't pay as much as what these guys are offering. At the end of the day, I know they're trying to put these guys, they just want to make as much money. I'm not saying Fury and Asia necessarily, the promoters, they might just think, you know what? Yeah, we could do this fight in the UK. We make this amount of money, but these guys are paying us alone for this amount of money, not including what we're going to get from pay-per-views and stuff like that. So I could easily see something like that happen. Wilder fought over 20 cruiserweights. Yeah, there was a good few. There was a former super middleweight on that list as well. McCreary was the guy's name. I think Fury's resume sucks for the self-proclaimed number one. Yeah, Fury's resume, Wilder, Klitschko, Chisora. Who else? Cunningham was a cruiserweight, to be fair, but still, he was decent back in the day. Kevin Johnson. And that's really it, to be fair. The Wilder win, what he came back from was good, but Wilder's best win was Ortiz. And who was the second best win? Seriously, who's Wilder's second best win? Brazil? Stavern? It's absolute nonsense that Usyk is getting step-aside money. He's beaten Witherspoon and Chisora. WBO rule a guaranteed shot. Yeah, that is a bit silly, I have to say. And do you know what the ironic thing is, Jay, right? They rule that for champions coming up, okay? But if you look at champions who've lost their titles, they go shooting down the rankings. Look at Parker, right? When he lost his title to AJ, he went from being champion to 7th or 8th in the rankings. And yet, if he was champion in one division, vacated and moved up, he'd get an immediate crack. It is silly. I don't. If they want to move up, why don't they do like give him like a final eliminator as opposed to just making the mandatory? I think that's a bit more fair. Fury has the two best wins in boxing. Yes, both long reigning champions. If he beats AJ, he's pound for pound number one, no question. I wouldn't put him pound for pound number one. Definitely not. Crazy D3 is a good question there. Brian versus Stavern. Predictions. Has anyone seen Brian fight? I cannot, like, maybe I'm just not looking for it right, but I've only ever seen highlights. I think the Flores fight was originally televised. I originally think it was, but I can't seem to get any footage of that myself. Other than highlights, I've not seen Brian fight Stavern. I mean, look how poor he was against Joyce. That was 2 years ago. I seriously doubt he's going to get any better since then. Big up to Limo. Hashtag G-Man's Rocks. I wonder, what is people's predictions on that fight, actually, Stavern versus Brian? I don't think that fight's happened. I don't think that card's happening personally. I mean, look, go on the website. Go on the website and like the hotel's website. It's not even mentioned. Just they would have had a weigh-in probably by now or by this evening. That fight ain't happening. That card's not gonna happen. I don't think. It's Don King, you know. It's Don King. It's 2021. Even if there was loads of, even if like everything was as normal, if Don King says he's putting the card on, I'd be like, yeah, well, good luck with that. Good luck with that. AJ was getting chucked around by Vlad in the clinches, and Fury's even bigger and heavier than Vlad. Yeah, Vlad is see, that's one thing about Vlad you have to understand. He is I think that's something that people underestimate was his physical strength of Vlad. Vlad was very physically strong. Very strong. CG, let's talk boxing. Pleasure, G, man. Big up to CG every time, man. Glad you're here. Glad you're here. Yeah, Taylor Prograis is a fight. You could just watch that over and over again. It was just a great fight. It's a close fight. Hart says Fury late stoppage, but I don't have a clue. Great clash of styles. I'm going with my pick is Fury. 54 in the chat now. If you could, lads, just last time I'll ask, smash the like button, just help out. So I won't ask again though. Fast. Man, I always get names wrong. Big up, man. Big up, G, man. Do you see the possibility of Fury fight ending a draw? Yeah, like it could. I was saying that what I might do is, I don't normally bet on these fights, but I might just get a fiver and just be like, there you go. Stick it on a draw. If it comes through, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Does anyone remember when literally, yeah, Fury is going to bully AJ up close if the referee doesn't say anything? Yeah, just don't get a referee like the Joe Parker referee. That was bullshit. That was absolute bullshit, that referee. He was Italian or something like that. I'll name this account later. Will we see more of Fury? Fury was on the second fight. We'll see a mixture, I reckon. I reckon he'll come out, get a lay of the land, and then see what he can work with. That's what I reckon. I reckon he'll come in a bit cautious, get a lay of the land, and see what we're dealing with, and then we'll get an idea. Liam Edwards, very hard fight to call, as both fighters can box and make adjustments in different ways. It's a effing superb fight, but I say AJ stops in one of those epic rounds. He goes for broke at some point, he will say. That's an interesting pick, man. Look, I could easily make a case for both guys, but everything is, I'm just, from my point of view, I'm just saying, I'm thinking Fury. When the bell rings for the second fight, I saw the Fury logo to the center of the ring, or Fury jog to the center of the ring, and it made my heart jump because I knew he was serious about stopping me. Yeah, he came out like a man possessed. He knew what was up in that fight, man. That was fun. Undisputed is what AJ wants for like 3 years. Then he'll give it all versus Fury. Oh, I can see that, man. Easily. Jay says Fury's a way better body puncher than AJ. He is. He rarely throws hooks to the body and clinches. AJ does is a jab to the body. Yeah, AJ doesn't like it to the body, man. Go and look at some of his fights. He does not like it. G-Man, I enjoy talking about how small Carl Frampton is. Yeah, I've seen Carl Frampton in person. He is tiny. He is really, really, really tiny. I've seen him in person. He's small. I've seen guys like Carl Frampton. They are like, yeah, he is small. Klitschko made Joshua fight at a high tempo. The first he was blown after 4 and 5. Yeah, actually, if you can make AJ fight at a high tempo, AJ definitely can't keep that up. No way. No way. Why won't there be a rematch for Undisputed? Because I can see the sanction body saying you have to fight your mandatories, and they will have got their payday from the first fight. And I reckon that just in order to make that rematch, whoever wins will just say, right, we'll get rid of this title or we'll get rid of that. And just to make the fight, that probably, because you can only step aside the manager for so long before legal action starts coming in place and this, that, and the other. And you know, when you hear talk of legal action, you're best off just calling it there, basically. What's your top 5 pound for pound active fighters, G-Man? I go back and forth a lot on my top 5. Active fighters, obviously Canelo. This isn't in any particular order, but Canelo be number 1. Well, I suppose Canelo, number 1. I'd say probably Inoue second. I go Usyk third, Kazuto Ioka fourth, and then Terence Crawford fifth. Yeah, I was thinking between him and Teofimo Lopez, but I would just slightly stick Crawford fifth. But I'd put Ioka ahead of him. That Tanaka fight, man. Big up Kazuto Ioka every time. Was going through Ireland's greatest ever fighter, Jimmy McLaren, yesterday. Awesome resume. Yep. Someone asked me a few weeks ago, Nick, who I think is the greatest, and that was my answer. You know, hell of a fighter. Retired Benny Leonard. You know, hell of a fighter. He was something else, man. He was something else. And he's one of those few fighters who lived. He was like 96 when he died. He lived in the 2000s, and he was born in the 1900 something, and he lived into the 2000s. Big up to Jimmy McLaren. Big up to him. Who wins? Jamal versus Benavidez at 168. I'll go Benavidez, definitely. Yo, shout out Intangible. Big up Intangible Boxing News. Lads, if you haven't, check out Intangible's channel. Always puts up good content. Big up to Intangible every time. Man, big up to Intangible. Where are we in the chat? G-Man. All right, here we go. Sexy question time. The zone presenter, Kate Abdu, or a threesome? Oh, Jesus Christ. Kate Abdu on her own. Well, in reality, neither, because none of them are my type. 100, like genuinely, none of them are my type, so I wouldn't in reality. But if you put a gun to my head, definitely Kate Abdu. She has qualities that I look for in a girl. I'll leave it at that. But Rachel Ball and Shannon Courtney, definitely not. Definitely not. Nothing against them. Both nice girls in terms of, well, we don't know what Shannon Courtney is like the whole time, but definitely, if you put a gun to my head and said I had to, I go with Kate Abdu, but none of them are my type, to be honest with you, bro. None of them are. I think Dubois should wait until fall. Oh, yeah, I think I read that already, bro. Oh, wait, I think I went way too far back in the... I think I read some of these already. Or have I? No, I haven't. You're going with AJ. Think he'll go for the kill and get Fury out there. Maybe one of those uppercut KO round 6. I don't know about that. Man. If AJ wins... if he stops Tyson Fury, would it be early or late? I reckon it'd be late, man. Honestly, I reckon AJ stopping him late. Joshua gets second win, but he can't afford to be lax in the middle rounds against Tyson. No, if he does that, put it like this, right? We'll see how the press conference goes. We'll see what the build up to this fight is like. If Fury can really boss AJ in these press conferences, we know what's going to happen. We know what's going to happen then. It's going to hinge on the press. I'm serious. If Fury can get in AJ's head at these press conferences, then yeah, we'll see. Even a big up to Joe Stunner. Big up every single time, bro. Big up every time to Joe Stunner. Just in from work. Ike Ibeabuchi would have beat a pride Mike Tyson. What Holyfield did against... Yeah, Ibeabuchi would have done good against Mike Tyson, definitely. Yeah, I've seen his video on that. I mean, that's Richard. He's a legend. What can you say? He's a legend. What can you say? Tyson Fury going to Oliver McCall special like Lennox Lewis did. The closest thing you'll get to Emmanuel Stewart is Sugar Hill. Conlon and Boot is a mismatch. James Ali Bashir makes more sense. Yeah, a fighter like that would be like definitely like why he's with Adam Boot. Like Adam Boot is a good coach, but you need a certain style and you need attributes that Conlon just doesn't have. Conlon just don't have. a WTF video. There's a series on Don King, not just a one-off. Yeah, exactly. Like I'd have to do it in like a two. Imagine doing that like a two-parter, making you guys hold out for like a month or something like that. Just do like Don King. We start talking about like he's Bronx City. We start talking about the early stage, and then we're like, right now, let's get into the dark side. Do like a two-parter. Look at Pulev did it the way in. Imagine Miller would have done that. Oh man, I would have still watched the fight if Miller got popped for juicing anyway. Yeah, I would have watched it. That's the problem. Like I'd still watch Miller even if he comes back as much of a scumbag as he is. I'd still watch him, even the Judge Durham or Durham. Yeah, Judge Durham. Jarrell was always good to be true. Was too good to be true. He was 21 stone. Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, you had to be suspicious about that. Seriously, you really do. G-Man, who is the best light heavyweight in the UK, do you think? Definitely for my money, but he's been out of the ring so long, would be Callum Johnson. But nah, big up to Callum Johnson. He'd be my pitbull. He's been out of the ring so long. He's been so inactive over the last few years that it's a tough one. Last year with Kate Abdu, you have like 0.001% chance. Well, I don't want Kate Abdu, to be honest with you. She's not my type of girl. Like, so that's never, even if I got the chance, I wouldn't, because, and I genuinely say it, because she's not my type. So, and I'm not that kind of lad who just would go be like, oh yeah, I'll fuck anything with a pulse now. So, you know, that's a chance of 100% chance of me not wanting to be honest with you, bro. She's not my choice. She's not my type. I agree. I think you're 100% there. That's what I'm thinking as well. I've got Herring winning as well. He's massive at the weight, and Frampton is tiny. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Nick, 100%. You got to have Ioka in your top 5. Now, big up to Kazuda Ioka. Big up to him. Big up to Kazuda Ioka. Lawrence Cole as a referee, I mean, Jesus. Yeah, he does occasionally do an odd good. Like, he was all right when he was the referee with Madana versus Broner. He was fine in that fight. But look when Lomachenko fought Salido. Look how many low blows he was able to hit Lomachenko with. Lawrence Cole was the referee in that, and he didn't do shit. Didn't dock points, didn't do anything. So Lawrence Cole, he has his moments, but when he's on it, he can be quite good. But Jesus, he can make howlers in there as well sometimes. Any news on Lovejoy? Yeah, right there actually. He's meant to be fighting on a card in, when is he fighting? He's meant to be fighting in Tijuana. I'll just check and see, is there anything on BoxRec? Christopher Lovejoy, one shot Lovejoy. I'll just check BoxRec. No, he's nothing lined up, but he's saying that he's going to be fighting in February on a show in Tijuana. So obviously, he thinks Stavern is a bit too easy and he wants a challenge. He wants to go to Tijuana, Mexico and have a fight. I mean, Lovejoy is just, I don't know what it is about him. Like, gee, I just don't know what it is about Lovejoy. He's just so, like, a guy with, like, who's literally fought nobody's, like, no one's. But yet, you're compelled to just, you want to watch him. Like, I want to watch him. I want to see just what he's like, just how bad is he. Simple as. That's genuinely what I want to see. I want to just watch him full there in the ring. Dave Allen's comeback fight, he finally gets the Lovejoy fight. I reckon Dave Allen will come back. I'm serious. I reckon he will. That guy, big up to that guy. Who do you have in the Usyk Joyce rematch? Right, I'm gonna go with Usyk. But lads, I'm not remotely convinced. Seriously, I reckon Joyce could do it. Maybe I'll go on camera for like the last bit. I'm not convinced. I wouldn't confidently pick Usyk to win that fight. Because Joyce proved me wrong a few times. And yeah, I reckon Joyce he might take that. I'm not saying I won't pick him, but it's an interesting one. The Tyson with Chavez cards are obviously the biggest cards in boxing history, and they were back to back. Like, they were like, first it was Tyson, then it was Chavez and Taylor. I only watched that fight a couple of weeks ago, man. That was a hell of a fight. Taylor versus Chavez. That was a hell of a fight, man. Hell of a fight. You wouldn't rule out Joyce Usyk has brittle hands. Does ever really hurt him? More about the brittle biceps is where his injuries really seem to stem from, to be honest. Oh man, I haven't done a prediction video on that fight because I'm struggling. See, I've watched Maxim Vlasov for a couple of years now. I watched him when he fought Ramirez, and that was actually a close fight. That was a good fight. I watched this fight against Chilemba, the first fight, and he's improved so much since then. I remember his fight against Chakiev. If anyone's never seen Chakiev, he doesn't fight anymore, but he was crazy. He fought Deontay Wilder in the amateurs, actually. Chakiev was this big, huge Russian, like he's like a Viking, real like muscly with his big beard, and Vasov absolutely barred him, and he held his own against Glowacki. He stopped Ola Duradola. He takes actually he's been stopped a few times now, to be fair, but it's a tough one. It's a tough one, and see, I think that like it's going to be a fan friendly fight, but Vlasov is huge. Like, I mean, he was weighing in for some of those cruiserweight fights at over 200 pounds. So my suspicion is that he's going to be the bigger guy in there, and Joe Smith is not a small light heavyweight. So my suspicion is that maybe Vlasov might tire late on because he's going to be cutting a hell of a lot of weight. Hell of a lot of weight. I mean, he's definitely cutting north of 2 stone. Definitely. So far, I've tempted G-Man with Phelps, Abdu, or Abal, and Ball. Now Dean Povetkin. Wait a minute, Shannon Courtney. Dean Povetkin. You mean Dean White? Dean Povetkin in a dress. Oh, Dean White in a dress. The brother from the course. Oh, Jesus. Claims he's not interested in any of them. Suspicious. No, I was wondering what you were saying. I was reading. I was like, what the fuck? If I had to pick out of all of them, Abdu, but no, like you need to know what like my types, man. Just understand my types. You'll understand it. Buy Bitcoin. Yeah, I haven't actually bought it yet, but I'm on an app called Binance. Binance is the name of it, and it deals in Bitcoin. Binance. I remember asking one of my mates that because he was the guy who put me onto it, and I was like, "How do you spell Binance?" And he was like, "Finance with a B." I was like, yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Well, yeah. Okay, G-Man, do you reckon we'll ever see Dubois take on Fabio Wardley? I reckon it'd be a good fight for both in the future. They both need to be under the same promoter because God knows if Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren are going to do business, and other than the Fury fight, the Fury AJ fight. But it'd be interesting. Like Wadley, I remember Wadley when he fought. Jesus, he fought in like a 6-rounder about a year or two ago, and I was like, he's all right. He looked okay. And they announced him against Vallily, and I thought, okay, Vallily might be tough. I didn't think he'd win, but I said Vallily might be game. Because Vallilly's not bad. And then he just dominated Vallily, and then that made me really kind of step up and take note. And I was like, okay, let's have a look at this guy. Now, Molina is not like he got knocked out in a round by Areola 8 years ago. So that kind of sums up where we're at now. We're 8 years later, and he's not fought since he lost to Hrgovic. So it's not exactly good going. To be fair, I'd imagine Molina is not going to give much resistance, to be fair. But we'll see how he goes. I mean, I'm watching Wadley very, very. He's interesting. I think Jared Anderson, if you're looking at heavyweight prospects, is a very good shout. Very good shout, man. Wouldn't rule out Joyce. He had brittle hands. He messed up straight left against Chisora. Oh, wow. On the next day interview, he had a brace in his hand. Yeah, well, he hit Chisora with enough left hands, to be honest with you. Buy silver. Yeah, no, I'm looking at silver too, bro. I'm looking at silver too, definitely. You got Bitcoin since 2014. It's dropped, but not bad price at the minute. See, what I'm doing is, bro, I'm looking at kind of, I don't want to just invest without like doing a bit more digging. Like I have the app now, the Bitcoin app. I'm obviously looking at silver as well, silver more so. but I don't want to invest without doing like my research because I don't want to get caught out, if you know what I mean. Be like, oh yeah, just buy on that, and then it's just gone all over the shop. I was hearing stories about like lads who invest in things and then forgot. I remember a mate was telling me a story. I think some lad in San Francisco or something, like he invested in like say like silvers. I forget, it wasn't silver, but say he invested in silver, and he had the investments all saved on like some hard drive, and he completely forgot about it. And say like 10 years later, it was worth like, fucking just name a price, a massive price, like serious price. But he threw the hard drive out, and the lads were saying apparently he went to like the dump where the hard drive went to and was like, right, whatever I've made, I'll give you like 12 grand if you find that bloody hard drive. So I was like, holy shit. Another note, Portier fought Connor at 155, but when he stepped in the cage, he was 120, he was 177. Yeah, but those lads in MMA, they cut serious amounts. Like I remember I was watching, was it Masvidal or someone like that, documentary on them, and they're doing like, I mean, the night before, man, it's crazy. It's crazy the amount of weight cuts they're doing, and how they're getting away with it as well. Like it's absolutely bizarre. I just don't even think it's possible to do that. But yeah, that was actually a good. I watched that fight. That was a good little scrap. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that. Now I have to say, Vassal was about 3 inches taller, heavier, and longer. I'm going back and forth, Nick. To be honest with you, I'm not sure who's going to win that fight. My head's saying Joe Smith, but then when I'm looking at it, I'm thinking Vlasov is good, like, and he's held his own against some good cruiserweights. I do think Joe Smith will win personally. That's who I think will win. Would be Joe Smith, but it's a good fight for me. It's very interesting. I'm intrigued. I'm very much intrigued. I can't wait to see it. February 13th is going to be a hell of a night of boxing. Hell of a night of boxing. Conor McGregor looks like a bit of an old crackhead these days. Too much of that shit whiskey. I've never really been a massive drinker of whiskey anyway. I drink it with ginger ale. But I wonder what, he has his own brand of whiskey or something. Or at least he did anyway at one stage. Why do you think Shannon Courtney gets so much hate? Was it her heated reaction to Harper's loss? I don't think she handled herself with her loss to Rachel Ball with like that much kind of class. She was like, oh, and the whole way she was like, I'm living rent free in her head and all this. It's not nice. I don't know. Like I don't know the girl personally. I've heard some people say that she's actually quite nice to be around, and I've heard other people say that she's not basically, or she was, and she got a bit of an ego. I don't know. I've never met the girl personally. If she wants to come on, have an interview, I'd be more than happy to. I'd interview male or female. I would. Yeah, and I was wondering that. Yeah, Ball. The Ball loss didn't do her any favors. I'm not saying in terms of the loss. To be honest with you, right? I mean, I think a lot of it had to do with Matthew Macklin's commentary as well. Like you heard how bad he was on commentary. Like I mean, I remember the second round of that Ball Courtney fight. Rachel Ball landed a straight right hand on Shannon Courtney. And all I heard from Matthew Macklin was, "Oh, great left hand or right hand from Shannon Courtney." It was like, come on now. I reckon that has a lot to do with it. Crazy D3 says she only gets attention because she polishes it. Oh, cool, man. He really is. Yeah, he loves those interviews, doesn't he? He loves them interviews. Now, like, I don't know Shannon Courtney, and I don't want to speak of someone I don't know, but if she wants to come on, she's more than welcome to. We'll do a live interview if she wants. Anytime. Thoughts on Al Siestas rant on IFL? When did he do that? I haven't seen it. When did he do that? I'll Google it. I'll actually YouTube it there. I'm not going to play it, obviously. Rant on ITV, on IFL. Was it today or when was it? On IFL. I actually haven't seen it. There's some I don't watch. There's some I do. So I haven't seen that one yet. IFL rant. Shocker. Povetkin cold nightmare, COVID nightmare reveals. No, I haven't seen it. What's he ranting about? Fill me in. What is he ranting about? Fill me in what he's ranting about, bro. But yeah, With regards to Courtney, she didn't do herself any favors, it has to be said, but I definitely would take what Matthew Macklin done a terrible job on commentary for that fight. Really did. He really did a crappy job on commentary. All he did was big up everything Shannon Courtney did. Apart from the knockdown, he gave Rachel Ball absolutely no credit. I thought she won the fight, but it was close, personally. I think, what was it, like 5-3? They scored it. That was fair. That was fair. I think that was fair, personally. To me, that was a fair result. But what can you do? What can you do? I mean, Macklin's not great at scoring a fight at all. Like, we should know that by now. They're picking Joe on points. Yeah, he does. He does. I think I think he works in construction or something. He works in construction, or he's a treater. He's something in. He works in labor, kind of landscape. I think something in landscaping. Joe Smith's a cool guy. Comes across a real cool guy, working class. But look, I hope Joe Smith wins. I'd like him to win. All right, I think Joe Smith's cool. He's fun to watch. You get. I remember, like, was it Tunde or someone that was alluding to that? Some people were saying like Yard versus. Someone asked me actually in a chat, like, it was like Yard versus Joe Smith. I was like, Joe Smith would steamroll poor Anthony Yard. Don't put him anywhere near Joe Smith. Has Anthony Yildirim got that Canelo fight? Yeah, no, yes. How was he? Oh, I thought you said has he? How has he got the Canelo fight? No idea. Beaten by Eubank, lost his last fight to Darrell. Last win was against 46-year-old Lenga Mock. No, I don't know how he did it either, to be honest with you. I really don't. He's not fought in 2 years. By the time he fights, he's going to be 2 years out of the ring. He is going to get absolutely iced in that fight. Burchell's going to win. It's going to be a barn burner. Yeah, I can't wait for that fight. He owns his own. Yeah, I knew it was. He worked in like construction originally, and then I knew because I think someone said he got his own tree company. I wasn't 100% sure, but yeah, that's it there. That's 100% there with Joe Smith. With regards to what I asked at the start of this stream, right? I was asking opinions on who would win. AJ Fury. The general consensus in the chat, it seems like Fury is the guy most people are picking. My thoughts are I'm picking Fury to win, personally, right? But I'll definitely be putting money down on the draw. Definitely. Yeah, you put money on Yildirim. I mean, that's the wire, though. He's a bit like, I'm just going to chuck £5 down on the draw for AJ Fury, because if it comes true, happy days. If it doesn't, no loss, no real loss, only £5. But yeah, the wire looks at like the odds you're given, and I'll never figure the wire out, to be honest with you. This is a guy who picked Rod Salka to beat Danny Garcia. Lest we forget. I only watched that video about a week or so ago. Lest we forget, this is a guy who picked Rod Salka to beat Danny Garcia. I'll never understand the wire, but I love him. I love him. Yeah, Hart says AJ, mine says Fury. I'm going with Fury, definitely. I'm going with Fury, definitely. The wire always puts money in the rock. He loves it. People don't get it. Don't get his MO. Yeah, the wire. The wire is I love watching Richard Dwyer, man. I'd listen to him happily. I'd happily listen to the marathon of Dwyer, some of his videos, and just how he breaks it. I'll never forget the 30-minute video on how Canelo would beat Deontay Wilder, picking Joe Hanks to beat Joe Joyce. Just, yeah, you put money on fit. Yeah, you know what the wire is like. I wonder, like, if he wins, like, say he puts like £50 down, like, that's too much, but say he puts £10 down on some of the underdogs and some of them come true. How much he'll get, but how much has he lost, like, in giving him money to the underdogs over the years? It's crazy. Lads, I'm going to call this stream here, right? I got some videos I want to get ready for tomorrow. Definitely want to make some videos for tomorrow, because I've not been doing enough this week. By my standards, I haven't been doing enough. I've been tired. I've been really fucking tired this week. Don't know what's been wrong with me. But lads, the Wire Marathon, highly recommend it. Big up to Nicholas every time. But lads, I hope you've enjoyed it. General consensus is, from my opinion, more people are going with Fury than they are going with Wilder. Some people are heavily favouring Fury. The fans wouldn't have said much if it had been Benavidez versus Yildirim, if he hadn't have blown his title fight, not Canelo. Yeah, well, he can tank his lucky stars. Canelo can't, for him missing weight by as much as he did, because that's got him this fight basically. But yeah, lads, I am going to call it here. I appreciate you all locking in. Hope you enjoyed it. If you could, lads, as Nick says, sorry, big up to Graham, but I was clicking on Nick's. Big up to Graham. If you could smash the like button the way, I'd appreciate it. Top stream GMAN, hashtag GMAN's rocks. I'll even, just so I could, before I go, actually, right? Before I go, just so you all can see it. So you all can see it, right? What do we all? No, fuck. Yeah, there we go. I was like, don't come up. Why isn't it not coming up? Yeah, there you go. Just see, like, what do you think of the new logo? I'm loving the new logo. But lads, big up to everyone in the stream. If you could on the way out, smash the like button. Lads, I get some videos for you tomorrow. We'll do this again on Sunday, as always, as per usual. Sundays are stream days. But lads, big up to everyone, all right? I'll talk to you. Well, you'll see me tomorrow in the video. So talk to you then. Peace.